I heard you talking about the grid. Would you elucidate more on that for me, please?
Well, use the word basis. Think in terms of something that is the beginning of something. We use it in the same way that you might use the word foundation upon which you will build. But the word grid is a better word because it's going to be filled in with all kinds of different things. And when you think about a grid, sometimes you can conjure in your mind some structure of something. In other words, some beginning point is really the point of using the word grid. It's a beginning point. The reason that it is a particularly perfect word is because when you live in this vibrational world, everything is perceptual anyway. And always there is the beginning. In other words, it is easy for you to imagine an electrical grid or an electronic grid. The word grid is not something that is foreign to you, yes?
Right.
What does the word grid imply to you?
Connectivity, space, where I place things and they all come together.
So you figured it out. But the difference in the grid that we are talking about, and we come around to this often because non-physical is not speaking your verbal language. Non-physical is offering a vibrational language. And to you, until the vibrational language fills in, you don't have the kind of full experience that you want. In other words, you are translating vibration through your physical senses into meaningful things. So there's a vibrational grid that exists before you see anything. There's a vibrational grid that makes blue blue and red red. There's a vibrational grid that is at the basis of what you hear and what you smell. There's a vibrational grid that is present. In other words, the vibrational grid of one fragrance is different than the vibrational grid of another. These are vibrational basis of things, you see. So there is a vibrational grid that is present before anything could be experienced in what you term manifestation. So when you look at the reality, the wholeness, this vibrational grid is immense. In fact, it is so immense that it's incomprehensible in physical format because you cannot comprehend all of the components of the grid simultaneously from your more pointed format. You've come into the specifics of this leading time-space reality. Even the time and space that you call this time and space is because an emotional grid has been laid that you are all participating in and filling in the details of. The fact that you exist in your physical form and that you are interacting with people, that you are interacting with the sights and sounds and smells and tastes and touches of your world are causing you to further ask for more and to further fill in the grid. In other words, we are, in essence, like a vibrational grid that you are precisely filling in, although that's not completely accurate because we're out here on the leading edge with you. As you are exploring the details of what you are living, you come with more precision about what you want. And every time you come with more precision about it, you put a component of it in this vortex that now maybe it would be better to call it a vibrational grid. In other words, you're putting it there. The reason that we talk about the vortex in the way that we do is because that is the grid that holds the basis of all things that you consider to be good from the beginning of all time, you see. Everything that you have sifted and sorted, genius, leading edge creators that you are, that you've defined. When someone's rude, you want nicer. That goes into the grid. The rude doesn't. The rude creates another kind of grid. That's why humans have decided that there is a devil or that there is evil, because every thought that is ever thought still exists, and law of attraction put those thoughts together. So there is an emotional grid that is before all things, the beginning of everything. Now, even using the word grid is making you visualize something that has already been materialized, and that was really not our intent with that. We don't want you to need the vibrational basis to be a tangible, seeable, hearable, smellable, tasteable, touchable object. We want it to be something that you feel. We want the emotional grid to be what you feel. So we want the basis of the grid to be understood by you to be love, or appreciation or joy. In other words, even as we do that, we're making it more tangible than maybe sometimes is good for you, because when we use the word love, you remember who doesn't love you. And when we use the word appreciation, you remember who's mad at you. And so you've got to be really determined as you are creating this emotional grid. That's why we say, don't try to think too much about it. Go someplace where something beautiful can tune you to it. When someone loves you and holds you as their object of attention, if you allow them to hold you as their object of attention long enough, they can tune you into vibrational alignment with well-being. That's why being in love feels so good. Someone holds you as their object of attention from their place of connection to that which is source, to that which is pure love. And as they hold you as their object of attention, they literally, if you allow it, tune you to that higher frequency. That's why the little beasts of your planet are so lovely. Your dogs and your cats and your whales and so on. You don't really feel tender about the insects, but you could. But find something to focus upon that allows you to reside in a non-thinking, a non-critical, a non-trying to make something happen from it, a non-demanding that it become a tangible manifestation state of being. Just a state of being where something like contemplating your Earth spinning in its orbit could be a very emotional. Don't you like that? Don't you like that your Earth spins in its orbit? Don't you like that? Now, can you get general enough to make that be a good feeling to you? When you just think about it doing that, it's not asking anything of any of you. There's no Earth spinning committee. It's not part of Homeland Security yet. It isn't. Or when you think about the ocean just lapping up on the beach, isn't that a good feeling? Or when you think about your cat stretched out on its back in the sun. Doesn't that feel good when you think about it? Does it feel good when you think about it? If it doesn't, choose something else. But surely there are so many things that you can just quiet your mind to contemplate that help you to establish an emotional grid. And you don't have to be there very long before it begins to fill in with good feeling things. So the grid won't hold still. It will get better and better and better. This we know about this grid. You're feeling it already, aren't you?
I am.
It will present itself to you increasingly specific ways for one purpose and one purpose only: to replicate the emotion that you conjured as you began it to begin with. So if you want fun, find the basis of fun. If you want abundance, find the basis of abundance. Now that's getting a little specific. It's harder to find
the provenance, the starting point,
but it's the emotional starting point. Almost all of you are accustomed to seeing a manifestation that someone else has conjured from a grid that they started before you even knew there was such a thing as a grid. And now you're looking at their manifestation and you're having an emotional response to their manifestation and wondering why you can't do the same thing. And we say, because you have to create your own emotional grid. Consider this. So somebody else started with maybe not even consciously, started with an emotional grid of well-being. And their grid filled in until they had a lot of prosperity that was evident to them and to anyone who's witnessing them. So now you wake up and you've been conjuring, you've been meditating, you've been flowing, you've been wanting to feel good. So you are a vibrational match to them. You are a vibrational match to their grid, because your grids are intertwining and interlacing. So you don't even know them, but you're a vibrational match to them. So law of attraction brings you together with their experience, their more noticeable grid. You see what they do and you hear what they say and you notice how they be. And as you observe it, now your grid is filled in more specifically too. Your grid attracted them. And depending upon how practiced your grid of well-being was, then you're not distracted with yeah buts. Because some people, it comes to them, they see it for a moment, that bright shiny car or whatever it is. They see it for a moment, they feel it for a moment, and then they begin the comparison of what's manifested in their experience versus what's manifested in someone else's experience, never realizing that the rendezvous that happened was a manifestational point, that it was the universe showing them that they're getting closer to the manifestation that they want, and even though it's not in their garage yet, it's on the way to them because they are in vibrational sync with it. You see what we're getting at? You are so intertwined. All of these lovely people that are intertwining with you. Creation is not even close to what most humans think it is. It's all about doing something about your vibrational point of attraction and then allowing the universal forces to fill in the details. And once you get the hang of this and you start enjoying and complimenting and appreciating the details as they come, then every detail of appreciation that you acknowledge adds to your grid and makes it more firm. So your grid just begins to fill in and fill in and fill in and fill in until it's not just an emotional feeling place for you. It's not some nebulous vortex that some crazy non-physical being is pointing to on the floor. It's the reality that you're living. It's the reality that everyone can see. Everyone can see the clarity of your being, the fun of your being, the prosperity of your being. It becomes evidence to everyone to see. But you gotta not care about doing it so that they will see it or it will trip you up on your way to it. Because most of them aren't going to be able to see it until it's really, really vividly clear. Most people will not see your new car until you're driving it, you see. Most people won't see it until you have manifested it. So if you have to wait around for them to manifest it before you see it, then you are taking way longer than you are wanting or needing to take. Is this making sense to you? But if you're working on your emotional grid and the reward for you is the way that it feels and the manifestation is irrelevant because the manifestation is just going to make you feel good when it comes and you already feel good, now you've taken all of the negative, now you've taken all of the lack, now you've taken all of the absence of everything you want out of the equation. And now you are in sync with your vibrational grid, which is the presence of everything that you want. And when you're in sync with the presence of everything you want must fill in vivid detail. And that's what you came for. You came for the exploration. You came for the new ideas to form within you. Not one of you doubted for a minute that you could be or do or have anything when you made the decision to come. Because your vantage point was this magnificent time-space reality that is burgeoning with constant evolution, and you wanted in on it, and you wanted your point of view to be part of the process of it, you see. And your point of view is part of the process of it. And your joy happens when you consciously recognize the part you've played and get in on the expansion of it consciously. You are creating magnificently, and we are all the beneficiaries of it. We're here visiting with you because it's time you come to the party you planned. It is. It's time you come to the party you planned. It's time that you revel in the fun, and it's time that you rendezvous with the others that have come to the party that they have planned. And what a party it is when you all come bringing your pieces to the party, you see. Good.
Yeah, really good. Thank you.
Now what? What's going to happen at my party? I'm going to have fun. In what way? I don't know and I don't care. Who's going to be there? Irrelevant. Where are you going to hold it? I don't have any idea. How do you know it's going to be fun? Because I've created a vibrational grid and I know fun. I know fun. Because I went to that party and took a little piece of it and I focus on that. And I went to that party and I took a little piece of it and I focus on that. And I've developed within myself a vibrational grid. And so I just know. Well, how do you know? Well, I just do. Well, how do you know? Well, because I felt that way before and stuff happened.